Namaskar everyone. How are you? I hope you all are well and safe at your home. So students, as you know, we are continue with the series chapter of the physical division of India, and we have completed the first two division, the northern mountains and the northern plains in our term 1, and we have also completed the chapter number 4, the western desert, the Thar desert, which was the third physical division of India. So in this chapter we will read about the fourth physical division of India, which is known as the Southern Plateau. It is also known as the Peninsula Plateau. It is also known as the Triangular Peninsula Plateau of India. Okay, it has many names. It is also known as the oldest landmass of India. Okay, so in this chapter I will tell you about the Southern Plateau. After reading this chapter, student, you will be able to know about the location of the Southern Plateau, about the land features of the plateau. Okay, and you will also read about that the Southern Plateau, the Indian Southern Plateau, is further divided into two parts. Okay, and both have different types of minerals, and many rivers are flowing here. So you will be get all the information about the Southern Plateau after reading this chapter. Okay, so let's start this chapter, students. In this chapter I will also tell you about the some interesting fact about the Southern Plateau, which will make your chapter very interesting for you, and also those topics will come in your higher standard. Okay, so let's start our chapter. An elevated or high. Look here, I am drawing here an elevated or high. Elevated means high. Fairly leveled or flat at the top. Fairly leveled or flat at the top is called plateau. This is your plateau. Elevated or high, fairly leveled or flat at the top. This is showing you the land of plateau, how the plateau's lands looks. Okay, it is also called tableland. It is also called tableland. Plateau is also known as the tableland. Why plateau known as the tableland? Because it is flat at the top, like as a table. How is table? Tables like this, and our plateau are also flat on the top, like as table. Okay, so plateau is also known as the tableland. Okay, now a plateau is always higher than the ground surface around it. A plateau, this is the ground surface, okay, around the plateau, and plateau is always higher than the ground surface. This is your plateau and this is the ground surface. Okay, but plateau is always lower than the mountains. Okay, this is mountains. Mountains are higher than the plateau. Okay, now it is the oldest landmass of India. The Southern Plateau is also known as the oldest landmasses of India. Why the Southern Plateau known as the oldest landmass of India? Anyone knows about it? Anyone knows? Okay, I am going to tell you about this. This is not given in your textbook, why it is known as the oldest landmass of India, but I will tell you, and it will also come in your 9th standard. Okay, which I am going to tell you about the oldest landmass of India. This topic will come in your 9th standard. So why the Southern Plateau is known as the oldest landmass of India? Actually, the southern plateau is also known as the Peninsula Plateau. What is the meaning of peninsula? You have learnt about the peninsula, that any land which is surrounded by water on three sides and one side has a big land mass known as the peninsula. So our India has this type of land feature. In southern part of India is covered with water bodies on three sides and one side has big land mass. Okay, and the southern plateau comes in the southern part of India. That is why it is also known as the Peninsula Plateau. Okay, so the Peninsula Plateau is also known as the Peninsular Indian Plateau. It is roughly, now what is the shape of the southern plateau? It is roughly triangular in shape. Roughly means it has not a perfect shape like a triangle. This is a perfect shape of triangle, but it has irregular shape. Which type of shape? Like this. Okay, irregular shape. So the southern plateau has irregular triangular shape. Okay, it is composed of old igneous and metamorphic rocks. You are aware about the igneous rocks. Igneous rocks are formed from the solidification of molten rocks. You have also read about the igneous rocks in your science. Okay, and what is metamorphic rocks? Metamorphic rocks are formed from other rocks that are changed because of heat or pressure. Some rocks change their shape or their feature because of the heat or pressures, and then they known as the metamorphic rocks. So the southern plateau is composed of old igneous and metamorphic rocks. Okay, and it was formed. Now the main point that why it is known as the oldest landmasses of India is it was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land, and thus making it a part of the oldest landmass. Now, it was formed due to the breaking and drifting of the Gondwana land, and thus making it a part of the oldest landmass. Now, what is Gondwana land? Actually, students, Gondwana land was an ancient supercontinent that broke up about 180 million years ago. The continent eventually split into land masses we recognize today: Africa, South America, Australia, Antarctica, the Indian subcontinent, and the Arabian Peninsula. All these land masses, which are known as today Africa, South America, Australia, Antarctica, the Indian subcontinent, and the Arabian Peninsula, were joined together and were formed a supercontinent known as Gondwana. Okay, in ancient time. About the Gondwana land, you will read you will read in your 9th standard. Okay, it will come in your 9th standard about the supercontinent. Okay, so it is very interesting about now southern plateau, that it was a part of the land of Gondwana, which was the supercontinent in ancient time. Okay, so now we will read about the location of the southern plateau of India. Okay, so our next topic is the southern plateau region of India location. The southern plateau is made up of igneous rocks and is an irregular triangular triangle in shape. I also explained it. The Aravalli Hills lies in the northwest and the Rajmahal Hills in the northeast. Look here. In this map, the location of Southern Plateau of India. So, what is the Southern Plateau is made up of igneous rocks and is an irregular shape. This is irregular triangular shape of the plateau region. Irregular, it is not perfect like as a triangle, not having perfect shape of triangle. It is it has irregular triangular shape. Okay. So this line is showing you the irregular triangular shape of the Southern Plateau. Okay. Now the Aravalli Hills lie in the northwest. Where is Aravalli Hills? Northwest means north, upside is north and left side is west. I am going to choose another color for showing you Aravalli Hills. Here is Aravalli Hills. So where is Aravalli Hills? In the northwest. Here is north and west. Okay. This part is north and this is west. Northwest, it has in northwest it has the Aravalli Hills and the Rajmahal Hills in the northeast. Now here is Rajmahal Hills. So it is north, yani upper part or in the direction of also in east. So northeast. So in Southern Plateau, the Aravalli Hills lies in the northwest and the Rajmahal Hills lie in the northeast. Okay. Now this plateau extends from the south of the northern plains. Now here was the plain. Here is our plain region. Okay, this is our plain region. So it is in the south of northern plains. The Southern Plateau lies in the south of the northern plains. Okay, northern plains down to the last tip point of India, which is Kanyakumari. Look here. Here is northern plains. Okay, and this yellow color is showing you the Southern Plateau of India, which lies in the south of the northern plains. Okay, northern plains are in the north of the Southern Plateau. Okay, and the Southern Plateau is extend till Kanyakumari. The last tip point of India known as the Kanyakumari. Okay, last point, the southernmost point of India known as the Kanyakumari. So this plateau extends from the south of the northern plains down to the last tip or point of India, which is Kanyakumari. This last tip point known as the Kanyakumari. It is in south of India, Kanyakumari, southernmost point of India. Okay, Kanyakumari. Okay, now here is do you know. Here is given do you know. Tibetan Plateau is the highest plateau in the world. Now plateaus are in all over our world. Okay, but Tibetan Plateau is the highest plateau in the world. It is called the roof of the world because it is highest plateau in the world. That is why it is also known as the roof of the world. And where is Tibetan Plateau? It is in Central Asia and stretches through the country of Tibet, China and India and occupies an area of 2.5 million square kilometer at an height of over 5 kilometer. Okay, Tibetan Plateau is in Central Asia and stretches through the countries of Tibet, China and India and occupies an area of 2.5 million square kilometer at an height of over 5 kilometer. Okay. So everyone, you are clear about the Southern Plateau and its location, and also about the Tibetan Plateau. I hope you enjoyed this class and you are clear about all the points which we completed today. In our next video lecture, we will read about the two parts of plateau. The Indian plateau consists two parts, which is known as the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateau. So in our next video lecture, we will read about the Central Highlands and the Deccan Plateaus, which are the two parts of our southernmost or our peninsula plateau. Okay everyone, so now take care, goodbye.